Okay, I'm back. A good little video, keeping up with my schedule, trying to put out content as much as I fucking can, I guess. I hate calling it content because this is something that truly comes from the heart for me, but it's time for me to step out, do something different, and hopefully, honestly, I'm just doing my life purpose. Everything else, I don't care about. I hope someone gets some value from it, but the main goal for me is to make sure that I'm living out my dream and my dream's purpose. Not my dream, my soul's purpose. There we go. My soul's purpose and helping as many people as I can, but whatever comes from this comes from this. But today, I thought about this concept we have of self-love and how I know it to be a scam. And now that we come this overly therapeutic society where you just have to love yourself more and you have to pamper yourself and take care of yourself and just ignore the haters and all these small little band-aids that we have for true self-actualization, is a little much and it's getting quite annoying. I am specifically tired of always trying to put the band-aid on a gunshot wound, that the classic one that you hear all the time. How can you love someone else if you don't love yourself? Very fucking easy. You were wired to do that. We might not, like you see it all the time with children. We may not have the capabilities of truly understanding and expanding on our highest potential, but children usually get the best of us, hopefully. They usually get the best of us. They usually get most of our patience, they usually get most of our understanding, our compassion. They usually get all these things that self-love is doing a horrible job at cosplaying. This whole self-love movement is just nothing but a cosplay for the bigger picture, and that is self-actualization. And the biggest indicator that self-love is a scam is that it's always trying to make you feel good when you've done nothing. It's always trying to use pampering techniques after you've done the bare minimum. I understand our grind here and anywhere is pretty tough on this. It can be pretty tough on the psyche, but if you can't make nothing from something. Like, we have to eat, we have to play the game until we figure out a new set of rules. Like, you have to work the 9 to 5, you have to build the business, whatever it is, your vocation that you choose. We have to go through those things in order to survive. And unfortunately, the way the game's set up now is that you have to put yourself under a considerable amount of stress. And I hate to nostalgia bait, because I don't believe in nostalgia baiting. Like, well, what did we do at the turn of the century, or what did our ancestors do? I don't know. I wasn't fucking there, and neither were you. So to try to nostalgia bait, to try to bring you back to an ancient ancestor who you've never met and you've never known, their true struggles. If I had to be on a farm all day, let's just say I had the blessing of being a woman back in, I don't know, 1773, and Bob was the one tilling the land and I was in there making butter from scratch. That's stressful. That's stressful, because think about how much butter we have at our disposal at our fingertips when you really had to churn to have butter, or go collect eggs, or whatever the fuck they did. If you wasn't rich, if you weren't rich and born into money or wealth, which a lot of people aren't, your day-to-day was stressful. It was very stressful to live in those times. And my argument is that we have it way more easier than our ancestors, because everything wasn't at their fingertips. Like, you had to really go work just to put simple stuff on the table that we just take for granted. Just like, yeah, whatever. All those things we just throw it to the side, and we don't realize just how fortunate we are to have everything at our fingertips. But That might have been by design. I don't know. Maybe we are looking for something hard, something worthwhile to do. I think Jordan Peterson says just pick up the rock and move it to the next place or some shit like that. I don't know. But the another reason that we know that self-love is a scam is because, like I said, it's always constantly focused on pampering and a lot of venting. Your feelings are valid. Like, are they though? Are your feelings really telling the whole truth of the situation? Or is it just your body's reacting to something? Your psyche is reacting to something that's creating these emotions. A lot of times I tell people that your emotions, sure, you can feel how you feel, but is it telling the whole truth? You know, like when we get disciplined by our parents for being bad, in our mind, we were completely justified in doing the bad thing because we wanted to. And let's say you got a particularly tough ass whooping. Like, I remember one time my dad kicked me down some stairs, and he was always kind of an emotional and tough guy, but I remember being kicked down the stairs because I threw something away of his, but I was also getting like a smart mouth that triggered his reaction. And I'm not trying to, say like, oh, I'm not excusing, people call it abuse or whatever, it happened, I'm over it, but I'm telling you, from sometimes we omit information because we want our side of the story to be right and true and correct. Was I upset? Absolutely. Do I believe he was overreacting? Yes. But in his mind, he was dealing with like a 14-year-old girl throwing away his hard-earned money. So I say all that to say is because a lot of the times your emotions, sure, you can feel them, but is it telling you the whole truth? And then oftentimes, no, it's going off of a past event that you're holding on to, and it's not telling a complete picture. And then that's where you get to, you should let out your feelings and you should vent. I don't believe in holding on things, and I don't believe in repressing, because I could be pretty repressive. But I don't like venting because I feel like it never really solves anything, and it sounds like it could get really close to whining. And how much more do we need to vent in our actual lives until we start needing actual solutions? So while I believe a journal could get it out, I know sometimes we need to share our authentic selves with people, but how much is too much? And self-love doesn't have the defining line of, okay, you need to stop and actually go change your situation. And where does narcissism begin in self-love? There's no clear defining lines for that, because if you look a little bit closely, the same thing with narcissism, being obsessed with yourself, putting yourself first, selfishness. Do I think selfishness is bad? Yeah, I think not bad, but I don't think it I don't think selfishness and pushing up boundaries, I don't know. I believe it's okay to say no when you know that thing is not going to really truly serve anybody. If I create an appointment, like I remember my friend had bought a house and he wanted to clean out the house. Eventually we were all going to work in the house, and I knew when I first said yes, I'd help you clean it out, I was just trying to be a friend. Then I realized that I don't have time to commit to this, to helping him with this house. I just don't have the time. And I had to explain to him, like, I'm sorry, but I've overextended myself. I can't do anything extra with you with this house. Now, that's just me acknowledging, like, I really can't do it. If I would have burnt myself out, I wasn't going to be able to show up for work in any of my other places. If I was just constantly giving him what he wanted, that wasn't going to help him grow and help push him to where he needed to be. I could probably, maybe I'm make it bigger than what it actually is, but I'd like to think that I was helping everyone out in this situation and not just me. But I think that that narcissism and self-love, that society try to trick us into saying the more you love yourself, the better things are going to be. When, like Lizzo, for example, like, I'm sorry, but she claimed that she loved herself so much and that she accepts herself and that we should all do it. That's a good example of why self-love is a scam. Because that woman claims that she loves herself so much, but now she's going on a diet. She was, at the beginning, this happened years ago, but when she was twerking at the basketball game, it's like, I'm a pretty tall girl. And if I go around just saying, like, I'm 5'11" and I'm tall and you should accept me because I love myself and you have the problem. Like, do you really though? Do you really? If I were to do that, would I really be that confident in my height? No. You would smell it on you. You'd be like, you bitch, you're not confident in yourself. There's no way. How could you be? It's like celebrating that you brush your teeth every day. Like, don't nobody, accolades for that. You just brush your teeth every day. Just like the rest of most of us, hopefully. We brush our teeth every day. But the ego is essentially narcissistic. We are all narcissists in some way, shape, or form. Whether you on the extreme side, whether you diagnosed with it or not, the ego is essentially a narc. It does not care about real self-fulfillment. It only wants to keep you safe, or that's its only job. It's the thing that tells you don't put your hand in the fire. It's the baby that needs to eat and that cries. It's, on the opposite side, say if you have depression, it's always constantly telling you you're not good enough because of all the past programming and illusions that you believed before. It's constantly telling you you're not good enough. So when you do try to do better, it's what's holding you back. Oh, you're never going to be able to pass that test because really you're stupid and your dad didn't love you because blah, 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 whatever stories that we create. It's inherently narcissistic. And it's seen even in depression, even in anxiety, you are constantly telling yourself this story that just simply is not true. But because your ego is trying to protect you constantly, it will tell you shitty stories like that all the time to protect yourself. And that's why it's narcissist. It's constantly focused on things. It's constantly focused on you. It's constantly focused on the small parts of you, trying to inflate it into something bigger than it is. And so we are all narcissists. We are all trying to escape from inherent narcissism. So loving yourself more, loving yourself as you are, trying to raise this esteem without doing much in return, is kind of null and void. Sometimes we do need pampering, and sometimes we do need to learn how to reduce the stress. But an actual self-actualization, doing the hard work, looking at the places that we don't want to look at, is building upon something better. And your ego will tell you whatever it can. Your ego will tell you whatever you need to hear so it can survive. So it'll start telling you things like, yes, I'm the baddest motherfucker around. Oh, I saw how you did that one thing. Girl, yeah, it'll tell you whatever you need just so you can listen to it, just so you can hear it. The ego is an essential part of being a human being, so you can never kill it and it can never die because you were born with it. You're going to die with it. It was literally what protects you. What happens is we start over-believing in illusions and fairy tales and past programming. And that's what truly keeps you stuck. When you're trying to go to the next level and your ego goes, oh no, wait, don't do that. Aren't you going to be scared? What if this happens? What if that happens? Ego is a master at that. Big fucking master. And we have to be careful of that. Even if you're a spiritualist, you really have to be careful of your ego telling you whatever it is that you need to hear to go to the next level. I know I'm coming across that, like, I've reached a certain level. How better can it get than this? And then that's when everything starts showing you, oh, bitch, just wait and see. How can it get better? It can't get no worse. I'm on top of the goddamn world. And that's when everything starts going, yeah. But anyway, so my best antidote to the self-love scam is to develop other qualities so love can actually come in. So we actually don't know what real love looks like. We have all these, like I said, all these cosplaying of what love is. Like, if you tell the battered woman that her husband been telling her over and over again, I love you, that's why I hit you, because I love you. Or we hear it from our parents time and time again, I hit you because I love you. I did this bad thing that you were clearly uncomfortable with and that hurt you, because I love you. I only did because I love you. Just that alone tells you that you don't know what real love looks like. And that's something that comes with time. Love is not infatuation. It is not obsession. Love is like putting the glove over your hand, I would say. I think the Sufis say you don't really, if someone speaks about love, they don't really know what it is. But in the context of this video, and what I'm learning through anyway, is that love is like the warm blanket when you're cold. The glove that just fits your hand is just there. Your job, like Rumi says, is to develop all your blockages and obstacles to that love. So that means developing self-acceptance and patience and learning how to surrender to it. Knowing when you should surrender. Letting things, like we always call it, letting it go. Letting go of that past programming. Letting go of the shitty story that you tell yourself. Showing yourself evidence that disapproves of the shitty stories we tell ourselves. Developing acceptance for exactly who and what you are. Having the patience. I know patience is a big thing for me because I'm so ready to go, 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 go. I'm so hungry for the next steps and for the next level and for the next burst of enlightenment, for the next new information that's going to pop, you know? But patience is a big thing for me. And developing patience and learning when to use patience. All these tools that you can actually let love in. That's your only job, is to develop the compassion, the acceptance, the patience, knowing when to surrender, knowing when to keep going, knowing when you need to do something hard in order to get to the next goal. Do hard things, telling yourself like you can do hard things, like you would tell a child. Like, I know math ain't your biggest, or science isn't your best subject, but I know you can do this. I know we can get through it together. That's what you have to cultivate in order to develop a true, well-rounded human that would let love in. And I guess it would have to question, like, what is the self? What is that really? I'll actually probably look that up when I get done here, because it's in one of David R. Hawkins' book that I have, and I can't remember the name of, but he goes into the science of the self and what is that truly, and is that really good for you? Is loving the self really good for you? Is the self just the ego in disguise? Is self-love really the love of ego? That's a good question. I might have to answer that for myself. But I hope this helps somebody. Do all the things, and I shall return for another video.